Hey, what's up guys, Klein here. So for today, let's talk about a very aggressive purple build. Okay, so now that the whole roster for the BT5 Battle of Omega cards are out, why don't we try building a BT5 ready deck so that upon release, we kind of have an idea which deck we want to build. Let's start with our Digitamas. So we have the 4 copies of Demi-Meramon. If you have been watching my purple deck previews, you would know that I always say Demi-Meramon is just the best Digitama for purple at the moment, because not only it draws you a card, as well as you get to discard one of your cards from your hand onto your trash pile. So if you are familiar with the purple playstyle, we are actually taking advantage of the cards of our trash pile as well, because we have tons of cards which effects are quite connected to our trash pile. So Demi-Meramon does a really good job on just drawing you cards and putting more cards on your trash pile. Okay, next on our Digitama are the single copy of Xiaomon. So Xiaomon, it's not that bad, but it's not that great as well. Because yes, you can have Vengeance when you have 10 or more cards on your trash pile, but the problem is it only activates during your turn. So if ever your opponent attacks your suspended Digimon on his turn, you don't really get anything from the deletion of your Digimon, because unlike Demi-Meramon, in which on both turns his on deletion skill activates, Xiaomon only activates on your turn, so please do take note on that. Moving on to our rookies, first we have the 4 copies of Tapirmon. So Tapirmon is just a staple on every purple build, because whenever Tapirmon gets deleted, you get to draw a card. So not only you can aggro out your opponent with your rookie, but as well as Tapirmon gets replaced by a card, because if he gets deleted, you get to draw a card. Next on our rookie list are the 4 copies of Gilmon. So Gilmon is a new card from BT5. So his effect is whenever he gets deleted by a deletion effect, you can get +1 memory. So with purple, we have tons of ways to delete our Gilmon and gain that +1 memory. So it really doesn't, the drawback really isn't such a hard thing to achieve. That's why Gilmon is a really good rookie on this deck list. Lastly on our rookie list are the 3 copies of Devimon and the 2 copies of Candlemon. So this vanilla rookie Digimons are just in this deck list so that we can use our memory as efficient as possible. Okay, now to our champions, we have the 3 copies of Meramon. So Meramon is just an incredible champion Digimon for purple, because it only costs 1 to Digivolve, and we can turbo out into our level 6s if we have a 1 cost Digivolve champion. Next are the 3 copies of Devimon. Just like Meramon, it only costs 1 to Digivolve into our Devimon, but as a bonus, Devimon has the blocker skill. So we really need blockers on our deck, even though I'm planning on doing a hyper-offensive style of play, because we'll never know if our opponent does have a security +3 or even a security +4 Digimon, and if you don't block that, you're just too behind on the game. So blockers are quite essential on every deck list. That's why we have to include a blocker, which is Devimon on our case. Next on our champion list are the 3 copies of Mushamon. So Mushamon is a new Digimon from BT5. What Mushamon does is, even though it costs 2 to Digivolve, it does have jamming. So jamming, for those who doesn't know what jamming does, if ever we attack with a Digimon with jamming, it doesn't get deleted with the security battle. So Mushamon can let you aggro out your opponent on the early parts of the game, and it just gives tons of pressure on your opponent's side. Lastly on our champion list are the 2 copies of Blackwar Growlmon. So what Blackwar Growlmon does is, whenever one of our Digimon gets deleted, our Digimon gets security attack +1. So this is quite good because we can attack with our rookie, and then if ever that rookie gets deleted with the security battle, The one with Black Growlmon's inheritable skill does have, he gets a security +1 attack. So essentially, that's like 3 security checks on a single turn, and that will put tons of pressure on our enemy. Moving on to our level 5s, first we have the 4 copies of Black War Growlmon. So Black War Growlmon is a new card from BT5, and what he does is, whenever we Digiburst 3, we can play a rookie card from our trash pile onto the play. You don't have to worry about having a rookie on your trash pile because most probably we will be Digibursting the rookie Digivolution source of Black War Growlmon onto the trash, and we can play that same card onto the play. So Black War Growlmon can activate his skill and play a rookie card all by himself. Okay, moving on to our next level 5, we have the 2 copies of a new vanilla Digimon from BT5, which is Vajramon. So Vajramon is just like Skullmeramon, but is buffer. Even though he costs 7 to hard play, he only costs 2 to Digivolve. And the best thing with Vajramon is he has 8k DP. Since we are actually aiming to be aggressive on this deck, and we probably want to attack every turn, having an 8k body on your level 5 is really good because most of the level 5s are just 7 or 6k. And on top of that, he only costs 2 to Digivolve. So I'm choosing Vajramon over Skullmeramon this time because of that 8k DP body. Next on our level 5 list are the 2 copies of Chimeramon. So even though we are a hyper aggressive deck, we do need some removals at some point on the game. So having 2 Chimeramons won't hurt us just in case our opponent is setting up for a huge level 6, so that we can just destroy their level 5s on our turn. Okay, finally we're moving on to our level 6s. First, we have the 3 copies of a new card from BT5, which is Tactimon. So what Tactimon does is, whenever we attack with him, we can activate one of the following effects. We can either gain 1 memory, or maybe we can add plus 2000 DP on Tactimon, or we can just delete 3 of our opponent's level 3 Digimon. So Tactimon does a good job on maybe extending our plays for a bit, or just deleting our opponent's Digimon. And as a bonus, if Tactimon is our only Digimon, then we can activate all of these 3 effects. So I think this is such a good card, not only giving you memory, but as well as deleting some of our opponent's Digimon. Okay, next on our level 6 list, we have the 3 copies of KS Gallantmon. So what KS Gallantmon does is, whenever we Digivolve onto him, we may delete one of our Digimons, and in return, we can delete one of our opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. So we can use a rookie as a fodder for KS Gallantmon, and in return, we can delete an ultimate on the opponent's side. As a bonus, whenever it's our turn, even though it's just once per turn, do take note, whenever a Digimon of ours gets deleted, we can actually play a rookie card from our trash pile onto the play. So basically, the one we sacrificed with KS Gallantmon, hopefully that's a rookie, we can play it again because of the second skill of KS Gallantmon. Okay, now moving on to our last Digimon on this deck list, we have the Omnimon's Wart Defeat. So I've included 3 copies of Omnimon's Wart Defeat because first, Omnimon's Wart Defeat has a really good deletion skill wherein we can just straight up delete any of our opponent's Digimon if Omnimon's Wart Defeat gets deleted. Second is that if we actually security checked a Omnimon's Wart Defeat, we can play him without paying his memory cost. Yes, he has a drawback that our opponent's Digimon won't get deleted because the battle won't persist, but playing another body on our opponent's turn for free, and as a bonus it's a 13k body, it's not such a bad idea for a very aggressive purple build, because if ever maybe our opponent's calculations are he won't die on our turn because we don't have enough attacks, and then suddenly he goes aggressive and we check a Omnimon's Wart Defeat, we get an additional body to attack for our next turn. So Omnimon's Wart Defeat not only is good for defensive purposes because of his on deletion skill, he is also great on offensive purposes. Okay, moving on to our tamer list, we have the 3 copies of Matt Ishida from BT2. So we really need that generic tamer skill because we want to digivolve into Tactimon and then attack at the same turn so that we can get his value. And secondly, we do have quite a few option cards that we wanna get back from maybe our trash pile, because having few removals on this deck list might hurt us on the late game, and having Matt Ishida return one of those option cards from our trash pile onto our hand isn't such a bad idea. Speaking of option cards, let's move on to our 2 copies of Hell's Gate. So what Hell's Gate does is we just straight up delete one of our opponent's level 6 or level 7 Digimon. Yes, it's not like Trump Sword wherein we can activate Trump Sword's effect from the security pile, and it can't delete a level 5 or lower Digimon. But I think most of the Digimon that is quite impactful on the meta would be the level 6s or the level 7s. That's why I chose to play Hell's Gate instead. Next on our list are the single copy of Earthshaker. So Earthshaker is a new BT5 card. What he does is we get to delete one of our opponent's unsuspended level 4 Digimon and one of our opponent's unsuspended level 5 Digimon. So if we are lucky, we can actually do a 2-for-1 with this card. And if it gets security check, we get to activate this card's main effect without paying his memory cost. So Earthshaker will probably be a good clutch card in case you are in the moment of dying on our opponent's turn, and then suddenly we security check a Earthshaker, we get to delete some of our opponent's Digimon, and then it's our turn. So having Earthshaker isn't such a bad thing, even though it's just a single copy. Okay, lastly on our option list are the 2 copies of Grizzlywing. So what Grizzlywing does is we get to play a level 3 purple Digimon from our trash onto the play without paying the memory cost. But the key activation here is whenever it gets security check, we get to activate its main effect without paying its memory cost. So I've included Grizzlywing because the same reason why I included 3 copies of Omnimon's War Defeat. I just wanna play offensively even though it's my opponent's turn, and if maybe our opponent get to security check one of our Grizzlywing, we can add another body on our opponent's turn, and then in return on our turn we can have multiple attacks at the same time. So having Grizzlywing isn't such a bad thing. Just 2 copies wouldn't really hurt your ratios. And just in case you wanna maybe get back a Gilmon from your trash pile onto the play, you can play Grizzlywing and your Gilmon only costs 2. And that's it for today's decklist, guys. If you love the content or love the deck preview, do subscribe to the channel. I also have a Facebook page at SaberClan, do check that out. And also, if you have any comments or suggestions regarding my deck building or maybe the cards that I've included on this deck list, please do comment down below. I will also leave on the description below the link of the game preview of this deck list so that you can assess if this style of gameplay is for you. And I guess that's it for today, guys. Till next time, peace out.